He never disrespected you. President Duterte basically did his job, and within the constraints of his lack of support, let me clarify what I mean. He had millions come together and make sure that he was elected. But yeah, you did something. You voted, and that's a big thing. But did you foresee the fact that when you voted for President Duterte, you also voted for yourself? You voted to change and mature and grow and be more accountable because you're the boss. You see, President Duterte didn't curse you people. I did. I cursed every day, my God, because I saw people not doing. People were talking, and they weren't doing. They weren't doing anything. I had people contacting me and saying, "Sir John, I'm too scared. I can't do anything. I have, I believe you." Nobody, nobody took the act of electing President Duterte to heart. That was a chance for you to grow and be more mature and level your life on a higher playing field. President Duterte he was accused of being um, a murderer, all these things. But killing, you know, death squads, all this stuff, MacDo Motel. But no, he had radical things happening when he took over being mayor of Davao years ago, because Davao had radical things happening to the people. He brought rule of law, and he changed himself because he had a physical opportunity to mature and take the steps of his life and apply change. What we didn't do, I know I didn't do it. I didn't take the time to learn in the shock and awe of the moment. I didn't take the time to say, wow, wow, no, wow. We fought to have him elected, and he won. What's next? Chismes, Maritis Maratos. That's what was next. Because, yeah, we celebrated. We saw things happen. We saw the price of rice down. We saw controversy. Francis Leo Marcos, a lot of dilemma. We saw a lot of things. But we didn't see ourselves grow. Because humanity has a disconnect. Humanity has a very strange problem with maturing, because we follow too many things that lead us in the wrong direction. Just like the election followed your intention. President Duterte made it to the Malacanang, but your life did not make it to another level. Your life stayed to where you could be a victim of, put a mask on. Oh, you better do what we say. Okay. We followed all these things and we did all this stuff, and we missed our opportunity when you elected President Duterte to elect ourselves. We should have stepped up our game and changed ourselves. President Duterte was serving as the president in the Malacanang, and he was radical, yes. And he did a lot of things. But he didn't insult his people. He didn't say, go. Don't you understand? You elected me, you're the boss. He never said that. But in his honor, in his position as president, he humbly and boldly represented his people. If his people wanted to be ignorant, if his people wanted to be cowards, if his people wanted to lie, steal, and cheat, well, within limits, he had to follow his people. So we should have taken our time to be a better example of human than the Liberal Party, the Yellow Tarts. We should have taken the time to really absorb the moment and support President Duterte in the path up to bring Maharlika back. Maharlika. You know, for some reason, humanity traded their existence to serve money, religions, consumerism, ideologies, judgment, hatred. But we never did find along the way, in all of these millions of years, it's not thousands of years, it's millions, if not billions. We have never found the art of being human again. We have never found the art of living, loving, and changing enough to be ourselves. Because a comfortable, peaceful, loving, safe, healthy, spiritually vibrant person is a good human, you know, a valuable human to himself. Do no harm. Love one another. It doesn't mean enable one another. It doesn't mean battle against one another. It means coexist. So I'm taking the step forward with my company, my life, my time, my knowledge, my purpose, my reason for living, and I'm bringing to you a platform and a way to do things. You can be part of this broadcast. It's going to change. This room is going to change. We're going to turn it into a studio in the next few days, and I'll be on here almost 24/7. I can if I want to. I can have other guests, other influencers, other people that do live content. They can come. We can develop a network. And my purpose for this network is not political. It's not religious. It's not about hate. It's about bringing people together in a common way, a productive way. I believe, and I've seen it, I believe that those that take the time to open their eyes and think and really reason together, I believe that those are the ones that are going to change. Because they will. Change is real when you make it real. And the good thing about change, when you face yourself, when you face your demons, when you face your unproductive lost life, and most of us have an unproductive lost life. Most of us don't love ourselves. We don't know the pain rooted in our life. We don't have the understanding mates or family members or friends to help us. When you start to see your life in this condition, it's only a byproduct of not being happy and safe and peaceful and productive. You have to center everything in your life around yourself. Yes, selfishness, in a good way. Self-sustainability. You have to care enough about yourself to have a balance, a productive, vibrant, inner standing, a peaceful reality. You have to know that you have all the bases covered. You have to know that your backyard's clean. You have to know that you're not at war with everyone. You're not hiding because you don't even know who you are. You have to know that you arrived. You have to have a moment where you can be in shock about the peace and tranquility of your life. Because once you clear your mind, once you really find value for yourself, once you face the problems and the deep-rooted pains of your past, you can start to develop a now, a reality that's now. You can start to develop some good life. And it starts to boom and beam around. It becomes bombastic. You don't have to be a promoter. You don't have to be a preacher. You don't have to be anything but yourself. You have to be a good you. And if people do this and establish it for the people and for the reason they're doing it, just to have the result be equality, balance, and a better world, we will make it happen. We will not fall into the reality that says we've been serving, believing, living lies. We can start changing and being real. So, social-fi, social-fi, it means social fidelity. Yes, we are a technology company. Yes, I am a technology person. And you'll know a lot about that. I'm going to help people around the world. We're going to establish new ways of doing things. We're going to basically bridge the gap between consumerism and a dying world. We're going to bring back self-sustainability. We're going to bring back the fact that we don't have to have something new to fix and heal something that's old. We're going to see a reality that is like a dream, because humans are great. People are wonderful. Even your enemy has good things to offer. So, Phi is fidelity. Okay? We're in the SIM card business. We do a lot of things. But historically, we've been a people company. And I mean historically, before 2016, had a lot going on. But I stopped my life when President Duterte went to be president. And ironically, it took me from 2016 until now to open my eyes enough to see that I didn't have my life together. I didn't have planning for my future. I didn't have all the structure that most people have, because I was so radical in my philanthropy, in my political. I was so radical in my judgment of others. But now that I've got a balance, and now that I've got the time invested in myself, I can really envision a productive, moving forward, collaborative effort where everyone that becomes and has the dream and takes the action, everyone that makes themselves available for change, they will. And we will bring a world without end. We will bring a better way. Because that's what humans do. We don't need a savior. We don't need a hero. We just need ourselves. And if you are reliable enough to have a good heart, if you know that you have a good attitude and you have peace, well, that sheer peace, that sheer example of goodness is going to lead others. You know, you lead more people by your life, by what they see in you, than you could take all the money in the world and you can't save people. There's no book with a prayer in it. There's no spiritual guidance that will save a life. But I promise you, if a hurting, sad, dying, suffering person sees a healthy, vibrant, peaceful person, they will be motivated to move in that direction. So, Social Phi is a network of people. It's a membership. It's a private membership. We don't preach to each other. We don't teach each other nothing. We do things together. We do things different. We want to see a vibrant, fast, stable resurrection of life. We want to see a bottom-up accountability. We don't need the world leaders. We don't need the economic forums of the world, or the UNESCOs, or the United Nations, or people like that. We don't need instructions from them for us to change our nasty lives. We just need the solidarity and the reality that we're facing to come together and reason. Somewhere between fact and fiction, somewhere between being lost and found, there you are. If you hear my voice and you see my face, what I'm saying is true. It doesn't matter if you're red, yellow, black, or white, Muslim, Christian, Catholic, Buddhist. You're still you. And if we can come together and develop social fidelity for the gain of you to see a more peaceful world, so we can all coexist without worrying about, will we die without having a purpose? Will we die in pain, being lost? I love the idea and the reality that affords itself to us that we can all feel good about what we've done in our life. I don't want us to be thinking about all the years we lived serving dead ways, serving a lifestyle that did not bring peace and health and self-sustainability to your family. I want to see us all feeling good that we made a change. We woke up. We stopped hating. We stopped judging. We stopped gossiping. We stopped being lazy. We stopped begging. We stopped stealing. We stopped killing. And we started being wise. That is very much an attainable goal. It doesn't cost us anything to do things better. It doesn't cost you anything to be productive. It doesn't cost you anything to make better decisions. So if we have the social fidelity, and if we're all living examples of that way of life, then we will see the world assimilate. Humans will be human because they're suffering and thriving to have a better way. They just don't see the way to make it happen. You know, the perfect way for people to live is to just do that. Live. And not have our life embodied by a box of guidelines and historical lies. His story. Are you going to believe everybody's story? Just because they said it? Just because somebody else said it? It took almost 1,000 years for Spain to indoctrinate the Philippines. Spain effectively brought a cross-culture, a global influence, a spiritual system that was lost, and the lost memories and ways of life of Maharlika. That was a practice, and it happened. Generation after generation, kababayan started to forget Maharlika. Maharlika was an existence of creation, an example of empirical peace and unity, kings and queens, of men and women. You know, maybe along the way I can tell more stories about this. I think it would be a good thing. But I don't want to start investing time in that type of stuff until we start having results. I want to see these times spent helping people become more productive. I want to see my time, the energy, the information, not be so damn instructional, but be an example. When you people start seeing a better way, you're going to follow that path naturally. And it'll be a rewarding path. It'll be a healing path. It's not about the money. It's not about the God. It's not about the reason. It's about you. It's about you. You just have to be really honest with yourself. Do we want to see people like President Duterte just, or do we want to see happy, vibrant, healthy, well-structured foundation people? You know, President Duterte he's feeble, he's weak, because he's lived since 2016. President Duterte jumped into 20 years of aging quickly because of the stress of his nation. All of your insecurity, all of your instability, all of your chismis, all of your martis maratas, all of your negative, painful lives was on him. And he's still living. It's called stress. You know, we can bring health, we can bring a better day for President Duterte, because that stress can leave. If President Duterte sees the shadow of his memory establish the reality he established by being an iron fist, an action person, a rule of law man, if we can take morality and common sense and make it our rules of our law, if we can look at ourselves and just make a change. If you can vibrate instead of what? Vibrance is a reality. It's like the sun shining. If you can be vibrant, I know you can heal, start making action. I know you can stop having excuses. You see, it's making me think. And I'm the one here saying this. I'm the one having the idea and the action to bring it together. It's making me look at the intricate parts of this reality we face. If we can bring more production and more peace and more accountability in our lives naturally by us doing it for ourselves, now you see the value of me saying this is about you. You're the most important person in your life. You are. And if you're not strong, and if you do not have a high level of reality in your life and awareness, you're not going to be able to help the weak in your life. You're not going to be able to help your children, your brothers and sisters, your family, because you'll be weak like them. So let's take a chance today, and let's take a different path, different ideas, an open mind, not a set mind, not a mindset. Because I believe that when you really start being honest with yourself, all these things that we feel like we'd have to defend, if you left your church, you'd have to answer a bunch of people, right? Why you left the church? No. People leave church every day, and nobody knows they're going. But when you leave church trying to fight for the reason why you're leaving, well, you have a lot of people to fight with. I stopped going to church, and nobody ever asked me why. Because at the time, I was too embarrassed. I knew why I left. I was embarrassed at how I looked like a clown in the church. How stupid I looked. I was embarrassed. I was judging myself. Because while I was in the church, I'd get mad at people that were like me. Confusion. When I left the church, I kept it to myself. I learned why I left. Because I involved myself with nothing that was even close to God. God wouldn't live in a church if you... A church is a painful place. I kept it to myself. So if you change your life, if you face the things I'm talking about, if you take a step to be vibrant and be part of a group of people that's doing good things, you can join. Just join. Click the link. Become a member. It's free. All you're doing is facing yourself in a direction that's going to be a better path for you. Because as you're going to see, the things I do and the direction I head in, I'm not going to be feeling and looking like this in a few days. I'm going to have more purpose, more confidence, I'm going to start shining. I'm going to be vibrant. I will be a vibrant star of reality. And I trust myself. I don't really have any problem with power or indoctrination or something. I'm really led by realizing more of me. The more healing I have, the more strength I have, the more purpose I have, the better I am. See? I neglected my life. All my life. I neglected me. Because that's the way we're indoctrinated. You know? Selfishness. Well, I'll tell you what. If you don't care about yourself, who's going to do it? If you're not rooted and grounded in a good, strong life, if you do not know the art of being you, if you do not have the Creator booming through your life, because the Creator's here. The Creator's not there. The Creator don't live in Cubaloy's house. Heaven. The Creator's in your heart, trying to express and feel through you. If you don't have your life rooted and grounded in a strong foundation of stable life, productive life, if you're not bearing fruit, you're going to be hurting others. You will be a drag on society. Alms, por favor. But when you take and you value yourself enough not to be a burden on yourself or others, that makes a difference. So, when you see me slowly manifest a bigger, stronger, more effective, more fervent, vibrant person, you'll be doing it too. See, each one reach one, each one teach one. You people wondered what was all this indoctrination and all this enslavement and judgment and hatred. What was its purpose? If there was any goal by any group of conspirators that would choose to mislead society millions of years ago, you know what they would do? They would stop all of us from being ourselves. They would stop us from living in peace. They would stop us from being self-sustainable. They would stop us from having the knowledge of who we are. And they would definitely indoctrinate us to judge others because of our problems. You see, we've all been socially engineered to be someone else. Instead of embracing who we're born to be, instead of having our destiny manifest itself in real, we just jump right out of nature. We jump right out of the arms and the passion of a loving Creator. We leave our own heart. We leave our own mind, our own good sense, our own reality. And we jump in a pen with some Lucian, a piggery of life. And we settle for that. We wait for someone to throw the slop, the old food. We settle for what we got, and we're thankful just to have another day. That's basically what humanity is. And a bunch of different variations thereof. Humanity should be an equal opportunity for everyone. Humanity should be a happy, prosperous, vibrant experience for everyone. Humanity should have good memories and good vibes. And the only reason it doesn't is because we don't. So see why I'm doing this? I want you to be vibrant. I want us to have enough social fidelity. Fidelity means clarity. I want us to have enough real life to see life change. Bottom-up accountability. Instead of the governments of the world and the leaders of the world bringing down laws and control on us because we've been ignorant, we bring the change to ourselves. We bring the laws to ourselves. We bring all of that to what we're created to do, and that's live. Live, love each other, and make more. So your joy can be full. Be in the world and not of it. Well, I live in a world where they have trees and cars and houses, but I'm not a tree, a car, or a house. What does that doctrine warn you of? That doctrine, be in the world and not of it, that doctrine warns you of being worldly. The products of this world the shiny bling bling things of this world, they're not the reason why you're living. You are the world. Above and below, in and out, you are the most supreme example of benevolence and godly example. We're all fashioned in the image of a creator. So we better start creating the essence of a creator. I believe that's what we need to do. Not through a book, not through a prayer, not through an indoctrination, through a radical change of ourselves. And hey, if you want to go and pray to a rock or talk to a man somewhere that you don't see, that's up to you. But leave your ideas at your house. Get in the world and start living. Because we haven't been doing it. We stopped living long ago. So I'm just using this span of time that we all know each other from, 2016 until now. What have we done? The product of our life is lapdog status for the Philippines. How many missing children? A foreign occupation. A military that was denied. Now it's a red carpet. Come on in. Come on in, guys. Shabu, almost eradicated. Now it's record numbers. Scammers and murderers and rapists like Norman Mangosteen. Political garbage like Lala Dilemma. Back on the street. What has it done? It's given Tete Digong a life to live for like he just barely gets around. But I'll tell you this. If we can even look at Bong Bong and love him and forgive him, and this is a lesson for me, because I would be persona non grata if I'd be there in the Philippines right now. I just don't possess the experience and the patience not to voice myself. If we can look at people like Bong Bong and just say, love you, man, but you know what you're doing. You need to be serving the people. The only thing we're seeing right now, we're seeing the extremes. The people that we saw rise to popularity on the popularity of President Duterte, the people we saw, influencers live in media, they're now against President Duterte, they're against me, and they're supporting the religion and the person, the persona of Bong Bong. You see how it's different? Bong Bong is a very talented musician. He's an orator. He speaks well. He even cooks good. But he's an expat. He's not on the agenda of the people. He's on an agenda that's aligned with kings and government officials and united efforts to take our freedom. We need to be able to be an example that would even touch his heart, because he's still got his father's blood in him. And I don't believe that Bong Bong is maliciously planning like a devil to do what he's doing. I believe he's just being himself. You know, he was sent out of Manila. The hero president, Ferdinand Marcos, was paying the hospital bills for Nanoy. Nanoy was going to basically go witness against the LP. He was going to turn against his, because Ferdinand Marcos was using that opportunity. The minute Nanoy got off the plane, he was killed. His wife had that done. And what was his wife doing? Hiding under a desk. So, Ferdinand Marcos sent his son to London. Wow, no, wow. He went from being a Filipino to a Beatle. Yeah, 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 yeah. So now he doesn't have the common sense to really have a Filipino pride that would say, "Ay nako buhay." I'm not following the needs and the pains of my people. I'm not following the solidarity of a nation that should be perpetuating rule of law and independence like we had seen when Tata Digong was in office. He could take what he's doing every day and involve it with becoming his people. And even if what I'm saying, if I could touch Bong Bong and make him see, okay, make him see that his life he's living is not perpetuating the furtherance of the lives of his people. If I could make that touch his heart, if he could just have a reality that would be creative. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to change. I did it, but it took me a lifetime. I'm still changing every day. And right now, I really see that we can do some big things. I can see that if we can take our time together and be an example, if we become the example that we were created to live, then other people would follow. And honestly, that is the biggest fear of our enemy. Our enemy is mortified, deathly afraid of us uniting in love and peace and positive change. Our lives would change so fast, because that's all we're looking for. Every day we live, we're doing like this. We're looking for an example of goodness. We're looking for someone that's not Orokan, because we're tired of being Orokan. How many times I call people plastic and Orokan, and I was plastic and Orokan? We're still going to have our own battles. We're still going to have our own stress. You never reach a place in life where it's all 100%. We are going to have challenges. But when our choices and our actions give us a better you and me, guess what? We are a better you and me then. That's just how it happens. That's the miracle of life. It just requires life. And what we've been doing since 2016, we haven't been living. We've been suffering. You might put on a good act. You might put on a good act and a good show. But believe me, I know your pain. I know your suffering. And I know your fears. Because I have the same pain, suffering, and fears. Okay? I just respond to them differently. The only reason I have the time or the organizational ability to bring this opportunity to people is because it happens to be the quest of my life. I had such a Messiah complex all my life. I was actually narcissistic I would fight you if you tried to stop me from doing what I was doing. I was a total antithesis of what I was talking about. My example of my life was totally ignorant. Oh yeah, I had more going on. I thought I did. My social level of interaction was with more like me. Those loud mouths that go to the big buffet restaurants and pray and judge everybody. Come on. Bucket! Look now. Go to sleep. You better go to sleep. Don't think you're going to go out there and look like you justified. Don't think you're going to go out there and assimilate yourself with other people in a group and represent something. All you represent is that image. When I was beating a drum and singing and preaching and talking and judging, that's all I was doing. It had a season in my life that passed away. And guess what? Now, I earnestly, honestly, emphatically believe that I have more of a chance to do and see and say real. Because I'm real. I'm all I have. All I have is me and what I'm doing. But I promise you, when I invest more of me and what I'm doing on me and what I'm doing, the return is astronomical. The economy of a spiritual, positive, vibrant life is not based on monetary values of this world, gold and paper, and it's based on sustainability. How can your peaceful, arrived, happy life survive on money and riches and possessions in real? You see what all the money, riches, and possessions have done on that standard of life? Consumerism. When we value stuff, when we value suffering more than we value peace and harmony and balance, well, the byproduct is a dying world. The byproduct is humans don't know what to do. Because the paths and the ways we live have led to nothing. Every church, every organization in this world is useless if the people in this world are not the people they were born to be. And I have never seen anyone ever in the annals of history, in the recorded, akashic, or written down, I have never seen a born example of anything other than human. Because the basic operating system of a human is life. Human, moral, peaceful, vibrant, happy life. That should be our goal. That should be our common sense, because the dividend we receive from that established life we invest ourselves into is more of ourself. And all of a sudden we have the extra, and all of a sudden you become a contributor in society, and it doesn't hurt you. When you value yourself, when you have human value, moral value, when you love yourself, when you forgive yourself, and when you equip yourself with the ability to not make the same decisions to be a broken, useless human, when you take the excuses and the repetitive life of ignorance, when you take that and just change the direction, change the choices, when you start to see clearly, see when you take the scales from your eyes and you open your mind, and we reason together. What? Who wrote that book? The people who wanted you not to live that book. It wasn't God. God had no influence on that book. But I promise you this, every emboldened effort to indoctrinate you and mislead you was for the sole purpose of perpetuating your broken life. Because like I said a while ago, the biggest fear the most powerful evil people in the world have is the fear of us being united and happy. If we can have social fidelity, if we can have a value for ourselves, the instant byproduct will be a provision for our community. Because the law of attraction, you know, I watch people pray and I watch people suffer, and they say the same suffering, God, I want you to heal me. I want you to provide the finances for our home, Father. Okay. Maybe it happens sometime. But I promise you, the biggest transformations, the biggest changes, the biggest examples of godly life I've ever seen is the lives of people. You know, if God can get some things through you, if God can pass everything through you, He'll get it to you. We're going to see, if we do this, and I know we will, we're going to see the world change. We're going to see the opportunity for us to forgive our enemies. We're going to see the life lived by example as we cohabitate, healed, mended. We're going to see more time for us to spend with the children, the wife, the mother, the father, the Lola. Our lives will change because we'll invest ourselves in ourselves. We start living in this world and we don't value our life according to the economic standards of the people around us. When we start spiritually emboldening our lives with values, human values, the return is instant. Because the Creator of heaven and earth will equip you if He can get it to you and through you. We don't have a banker God. We don't have a big box store God. We have a universal reality, as above, so below. We are all one. And when the corporate body of human makes a choice to stop suffering, makes a choice to stop hurting each other because we're in pain, when the corporate body of human unites and lives with purpose to drive the bare essence of love and life itself, what you think? Even our enemies will walk by us and help us when they see with real eyes, and they think and they process thoughts that say, I'm doing the wrong thing. I'm hurting myself. When we realize that our life was never served in the past, when we start to serve the essence of our life with the byproducts of choices that give us an immediate dividend, just because I made a choice to be myself and stop participating in all the foolishness I saw, it gave me time with myself. And I can't begin to tell you what I have now in my life. I don't have a lot of people I'm around every day. I don't have a big room of people that say, "Hey, John," when I walk in. But I do have some very unique caring, reality-based people in my life. And you know what? We're starting to see the path to go, the choices to make. We're starting to see the big picture. And I'll tell you this. If you want to place yourself in a strategic place in life, you get around people that are going up. The stairway to heaven is like this. But you know what? It's an optical illusion, because heaven is actually here. It's not here. It's not through some stairs. God don't live in the clouds. God don't have a long beard. God don't judge you. God gave you a life where you can judge yourself. God gave you a value system called karma, where naturally you should make choices if you're not influenced by others, if you're not structured to be anything other than what you're born to be. God will give you an instant result when you make an instant change to be you. When you can see and think and say and live as yourself with a loving, kind, empathetic, forgiving, self-sustaining reality, you'll change. Because you're just going to be possessing and standing in the footprint of that awesome person that was born to be you. You just have to do it. And it's our time. It's not the end, it's the beginning. You're not going up, you're going down. At least to a level up here. Because if you can't be real in this reality, face to face, how can you even know the love and the power of a omnipresent, forever God? How can you ever reach the prime directive of do no harm and love unless you are do no harm and love? If you can't accept who you are, how are you ever going to accept reality? How will you be anything other than a failure if you can't equip yourself with the ability to embrace who you are? The truth is, you're a wonderful person. And you're not great because of your religion or your race or your college degree or your job or your money. You're great because of who you are or who you can be. And that's called you. See how wonderful it is to have all the answers? And I'll tell you, I have an answer for everything. Right now, I could tell you the answer for everything. You. I'm not going to fight with anybody. I'm not going to argue. I'm not going to say, see, I told you. I'll just point you back to you. Because the biggest lesson I've ever learned in my life is me. I look in the mirror. I don't see myself. I never do see myself. I see an image of me. But I promise you this. When I start to see your loving acceptance and caring nature of me, when I see through your eyes what you discern from my life, it's going to embolden me to be more of me. It's going to give me like-minded, one-accord methodologies. And you know what? I will methodically be me. Because it's the best thing I can do. All I'm doing is validating what I'm saying, clarifying the intention of creation, and affording the opportunity, opening the door, leading the way. Everything turned evil by the choice of one person, then two people, then 10, then 1,000, then 1,000,000, then the next thing you know, the whole world don't even know who they are. But we'll fight. We'll fight for someone else's story when we don't even have a book to write our story? See? All I'm doing is validating everything I'm saying. We're all living epistles read of men, right? Your life is the only book that is ever supposed to be written, because individually, the love and the care our Creator has for one of us is individual. Now, out of that relationship with you, there is 2, then 10, then 1,000, the whole creation. Don't even try to have me quantify or validate the love of the Creator. All I know is, emphatically, beyond a shadow of a doubt, the Creator don't kill, steal, or destroy. It's against the nature of the Creator. It's against the perfection and the love of and the balance of the good vibes of the Creator. There's never been a judgment or a killing or a misled anything. The intention of the Creator is unity. The intention of us being created is for us to have a living expression living through us. And the power and the might and the balance actually reduces the human to the life of a child. For that is the most powerful living example of Creator that we have available to us today, a child. So, we need to reason together. We need to purposely drive our lives to be vibrant, to accept change, and to implement things that bear fruit for us individually. When we can corporately stand in strength and love and wisdom, we will be the change. Maharlika, rise. Kababayan, I am the eagle of the north. Tatadigong is the eagle of the south. And we'll talk about that in the future. And Maharlika is real. The Sierra Madre used to go all the way from around Aurora up to the North Pole. And the world was different. The world was one. And yes, the world is Maharlika. So, kababayan, it's time to be people. It's time for us to identify and have a goal and reason so that we can have a better identity, a better reason to live, a better result. It doesn't cost a lot of money to be yourself. It's just the choices bear fruit. The law of attraction works for you. I believe that the choices made by our forefathers can be reversed when we learn to stop reliving them. A cursed generation is nothing but generation after generation participating with eating of the tree of life. You know what that is? It's not an apple. A woman didn't do that. When we eat from the tree of life, all it is we're eating our habitat, we're eating our moral guidance, we're consuming our independence and our vibrance, and we're choosing a life of suffering. And we've just learned to fashion defense mechanisms and generations and eons of resilience to be ignorant. There's nothing more bobo and goggle than a nation of people that can't even see the value of their own self to be people. When you value somebody else's story other than your own, it just shows you're a lost person. It just shows that you have no compass, you have no strength, nothing real. So if the choices of our forefathers led to this living example of failure, the purpose of it was for us not to be peaceful and sublime. It's not something that was intended. The loving Creator didn't intend for us to be so stupid. It's just a byproduct of us having a life that was given to us like that. We were born into it. When we take the excuses and the mistakes of our forefathers and we go forward with lessons and thinking clearly and seeing the right thing to do, the path will be given to us. It's not going to come out of a book or a prayer. And I mean, you're not going to hear the voices of heaven speaking. No, this is about us. Life is about us living. So, when you make better choices and you really love yourself and you really care enough about yourself that you start to see the big picture of life. The fact is, if you're not a strong person, if you're not spiritually, physically, monetarily, if you're not equipped to help others, how can you actually help? A life without end is our choice. It's our option. An immortal life instead of a death mentality. Where we have honor and peace and we're not battling in our life foolish wars, but we're embarking on a peaceful habitat and we're instilling that through our actions. See? It started with one bad decision, 2 to 110, and then exponentially we lost who we are. We lost Maharlika. We lost unity. We lost the reason to live, the real reason. So, I want to leave this conversation with you not judging me for what I say, but judging what I say as a good option for us. When we start to live and love and change, we live, love, and change. And that, my friends, is the only real choice we can make. Because every other choice that we see before us or that we have made thinking that we did the right thing, it leads us to a very brutal end where your reward is eternal life. To be absent from the body is to be what? Not in hell. That's a man-made conception. That's a perception deception. That's to cause fear. I would rather pass on to an eternal existence knowing that I did the right thing. I would be, and I am, excited and intrigued to have the byproduct of millions and millions of good humans just being good humans. I would really, really be valuable to my Creator then. I would probably, I'd probably be met with open arms if the byproduct of my life has actually made people choose to be who they're born to be. That'd be the highest, most noble thing we can do, is to be you. To be who you were born to be. So, I want to leave this live with this promise from my heart, and my integrity and my honor is on the line here. I'm investing my life and I'm stepping forward to be a manifestation of who the Father created through me. Never to be in a position where I'm judging you, giving you alternatives, or telling you to do this and this and this. I want to live my life where it's easier for me to be me. I want to live my life where I know that I've influenced people to be a better person naturally. Because that's what's been really my goal all my life, is to see a world where people are not hurting and not suffering. I didn't see anything for me until I saw me. When I saw the sad nature of my life, just because of the choices and the actions I had and the investment of life that was foolish, it left me with a broken down, hurt, suffering person. And it wasn't until I learned to embrace my life and love myself where I started to have value for me. And when I reached this threshold of my life today, I'm humbled to know that I can have a part to be instrumental in being an example to lead people to be who they're created to be. This, my friends, I leave you with this. The purpose of this live broadcast, the investment, the platforms, the time, it's not well thought out. It's not something I've sat down with some professors and some engineers for a year. This was a spontaneous reaction to some things in my life that were showing me a pattern. I was doing the same thing again and again and again, trying to have the ultimate result, and that is to reach people, to help President Duterte, to make Maharlika rise, to influence your life to where you would be a better person. I not go buhay. I just validated why I'm doing this. I just validated everything I said. I made a choice to do this live broadcast and to commit to it and to be an open example of success, to be a waymaker by example, because of I saw the fact that my life was nothing. It doesn't matter how much money I have. It doesn't matter what kind of stories I can tell you. My life was categorically a life that everyone could judge, and you could see the fruit of me not living for a better me. And honestly, all the things I fought for, all the things I did, they didn't mean anything because I wasn't living that example that I was fighting and trying to teach and trying to guide. Now I'm starting to live that example. So this platform is going to be a network, a 24/7. We can have people come in and do, I can have anybody come talk with me. We're going to have other shows on this. But I promise you, they will be based on example. Good examples that perpetuate tranquility and self-sustainability and peace and open-minded resolution. What is that resolution, my friend? It is not in the choices or the constitution of a human to be justified as a human based on religion, creed, nationality, or identity. It is the only challenge to you, a prime directive from the Creator for you to be you. Because that's all the Creator wants from you, is the ability to express and live and love through you. And if you fight and argue with that, you're a sick individual. That one statement, speaking to preachers and priests and nuns and Muslims and whoever, the Mahdi can hear that. And if they have a heart and an open mind, and if they really love the Creator and they love themselves, they would be standing with me. The purpose of every church, every religion should be to end. Because the manifestation of anything good should manifest. The seed should be planted, and the harvest should be perpetual. So, this platform, Social Fidelity, we're a technology company. We're going to be talking about technology. I'm going to actually operate my office through this live every day. I'm going to onboard agents. We're going to be hiring every day. We're going to be putting customers online. I will be introducing everyone to this opportunity to be an example. My political goal is to generically, categorically, worldwide, inform every human that it is their moral obligation to hold their leaders accountable, because the laws that govern society, ironically, they always judge us and govern us, but they don't seem to fall on the reality of the life or the sin of our leaders. So, if we all have a good grip on the legal system, we're going to take the criminal just us system and give them their criminals. And that's the leaders and the ones that make the laws. Most of them are corrupt as can be. It's a career, complex, smartmatic. That's to keep you from being a moral compass. That's to keep you from being a human that governs life through the power and the living vibrance of a creator living through you. See? So we're going to bring change. I'm going to inform people a simple way. I don't have to get a book. I don't have to say the reason I do this is because I serve for this. No, I'm being myself. I want to be the best example of human, the most accountable. If the strongest person on earth came to point fingers and judge me, I want that person to be honored to stand before me. I don't care how rich or how poor you are. The way you conduct your life is the way I judge you. It's the way I see your success or your failure. It's because that's the way I started changing. I started judging myself. I started making better choices. So this platform will be to inform, to be an example, and to celebrate, and to be a living example. Because that's the only way we're going to change. So it's been over an hour. I'm going to let you guys go. I have things to do. I have to organize this and be a little bit more presentable. I don't want to be a network like ABS-CBN. I want to be me. And I think you do too. And when we can be ourselves without arguing about politics or religion, when we can just start living, when the product of our life becomes the self-sustainability and the direction and the strength of our family and our community. See where I'm headed? Somebody's got to do it. Okay? Let's start living. Let's have a better way of doing things by doing it together. That's the only way we can be accountable. And it's an easy thing to do when you have others doing it with you. Bye for now.